Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home. Thanks for coming back to the channel today for this 4K review. Today we're diving into the latest movie from Robert Eggers, a filmmaker that I really love, and this is The Northman here on 4K Blu-ray from Universal and Focus Features. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie and my thoughts on that. We'll dive into the visual quality and the video transfer here. I'll talk audio and Dolby Atmos, and then we'll also talk packaging and special features, and ultimately try to answer the question for you of whether or not this one is worth picking up for your collection. So The Northman is the latest from Robert Eggers, who is a great filmmaker who I've really come to enjoy over the last few years. He's most well known for his two movies with A24, The Witch and The Lighthouse, which were both very slow burn, folk horror, kind of genre benders almost, that were both very well received with great performances by their casts. But A24 was kind of where he was living, and now with The Northman, he's taking his first steps into a larger budget, a much bigger scale of a movie, a much more involved studio, and you can clearly see that in this movie. It's not entirely Robert Eggers. You can see where the studio had made some cuts. He wanted this to be a little bit longer and probably more involved. They cut some things, they made some edits. You know, there was definitely more studio involvement than he probably had with a blank slate, where A24 picked up his independent releases. But that being said, this movie's not bad by any means. It's very much right within Robert Eggers' wheelhouse. Now, this movie's definitely a slow burn, much like The Witch, much like The Lighthouse. So there are definitely people out there who are going to be like, I was bored by this, I couldn't get into it. It drags a little bit, but I don't mind that because I like a slow burn. I have the attention span to watch something and not get bored and really just enjoy the art within the movie and the art of his filmmaking and cinematography and the way he designs movies. So I enjoyed it. It has a great cast, including Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman. We've got Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Bjork, Klaus Bang. I mean, it's a great cast full of excellent actors, and I can't recommend it enough. If you like Viking mythology or just like the show Vikings or any of the stuff within that time period, I think this is the best I've seen Vikings portrayed in a full-length motion picture. So I really, really liked it. Now, visually, this movie is interesting because even though it's brand new, 2022, it was actually shot on 35mm. So shot on film, not something that a lot of people are doing. So with the 35mm source, that got transferred over to a true 4K digital intermediate, meaning with the 4K copy here, we've got solid 4K resolution, no upscale or anything like that, and you're getting that great 35mm look and feel, but clearly with more modern equipment. You're going to see some grain, but it's not going to be grainy like a movie even from the 90s or 80s, and certainly not like something back from the 50s or 60s. It is a really clean looking movie, even though it was shot on film. It has that look and feel, but the grain resolves really, really well here, and at times you may not even notice it. Now, where you will notice it is when the movie gets pretty dark, which is a good part of the movie. And in the thumbnail, I mentioned you do not want to watch this movie on streaming because the streaming services are not going to be able to handle the grain and the resolution well, and they're definitely not going to be able to handle black levels and dark scenes well. If you remember watching Game of Thrones, the final season, when they did the episode The Long Night, which was the big fight that took place pretty much entirely in the middle of the night with very little lighting, if you watch that on HBO or even on cable, it was terrible. There were so many issues with that stream because streaming doesn't have the bandwidth and doesn't have the compression technology that a 4K disc can give you, and so the blacks were all crushed and awful and the picture was washed out. You couldn't see what was going on. It was a real problem. But if you watched it on the 4K disc, I talked about this in a video, it's beautiful. The same thing is going to happen here with The Northman. If you watch this on streaming, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be washed out at times. It's going to have some real black crush problems. It's not going to be a good looking picture. Now, if you watch it on Blu-ray, it'll be better for sure, but watching it on 4K here with a true 4K source, Dolby Vision, HDR, all the goodies that 4K gives you, you're going to have a really good time, and you're going to see this the way that the filmmaker intended it. So I really loved this on 4K, and I cannot recommend enough. If you want to experience this movie the way it's supposed to be experienced and have a good time with it, especially if you want good visuals, you have to buy the the 4K disc. It's simply the only way, in my opinion, to watch this movie correctly. If you're streaming it, it's bad. If you want the theatrical experience that you had, 4K is the only way to go visually. Now, on the audio side of things, this does pack a Dolby Atmos track, and while the movie doesn't have like over-the-top Atmos action that a recent movie like Ambulance had, or King Kong vs. Godzilla, or even what I'm expecting like a Top Gun Maverick to have, those Atmos tracks are above and beyond. The Northman doesn't have those moments, but it does have a great score, and I always think Atmos helps balance dialogue better, which is super helpful, especially when people have accents, which they have in this movie. That's always helpful to get nice, clear, sharp dialogue. There are a few nice moments. The surround does kind of move around. You get a little bit of that Atmos action, but honestly, if you were listening here on a 5.1 or a 7.1, whether you have Atmos or not, I think you'll have a good experience. The score is very well done, the music sounds great, and I had a really good time with it. Atmos is an added bonus, but it's just not going to be one of those like over-the-top type Atmos tracks, but always good to have nonetheless, and it is available on the Blu-ray as well. So whether you do want to cut a few dollars off your budget and go for the Blu-ray, you can get Atmos there. If you go for the 4K, you'll also get it, so that's nice to see. Now, the packaging is pretty standard. We got the 4K slipcover here. They're calling it a collector's edition. Not sure why. There's nothing really special or different about this. Maybe they're following in the same path as like Disney that calls everything a collector's edition, which is fair at this point. Pretty much collectors are the ones who are buying 4K, or people who are looking for a higher level edition. So I guess you could call it a collector's edition, but don't expect anything different from what you get on Blu-ray. The poster art here is on the front, pretty standard floating head stuff with all the actors' names. Then on the inside, you get the same with the black case. Opening this up, you've got the Blu-ray disc, no artwork, and then the 4K disc, which actually has some nice artwork, which is pretty cool. This also comes with a Movies Anywhere code, which will redeem in 4K, so that's an option as well. Although, again, I can't stress this enough, watch it on physical disc, because even the digital copy can't get you the quality you need to watch The Northman and really enjoy it. So now special features are actually pretty nice. This is cool because a lot of mainstream stuff like this, they kind of short you on the special features, but this has deleted and extended scenes. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different featurettes, behind the scenes stuff, mythology stuff, filmmaking stuff. Pretty cool, you know, different features. One about shooting the raid, a Norse landscape, which covers sort of the cinematography and the setting, the faces of the Vikings. It's some decent behind the scenes features. They're not super long, but at least they're there. And then you do get a feature commentary with director and co-writer Robert Eggers, which is very interesting. I've liked his past commentaries. He really takes his films seriously, and he cares about the way they look and you know, the experience people have when watching them. So I can't wait to listen to his commentary for this. It's one of the few people that I'd actually probably listen to a commentary track with. So overall, I think The Northman on 4K is great. It's one of the better releases of 2022 so far. Gives you that great 4K with Dolby Vision. 35mm source really helps, and it gives you Dolby Atmos plus a decent amount of special features and okay packaging. Nothing you can really complain about here with The Northman. It's a great overall package. Certainly one of the better visual experiences of the year, especially if you're comparing it to a streaming option. This is a 5 out of 5 on disc. Streaming can't give you that, and the audio is very good as well. So AV experience good, packaging good, special features good. It's worth picking up, and please, 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 do not stream this. Grab the 4K disc or you're going to be disappointed. So I will leave a link to the 4K disc in the description of this video, as well as in the pinned comment. If you purchase that, that helps support me. But that is the only way to watch The Northman, in my opinion, at home, and I can't recommend it enough. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did like it, like the video, and make sure you subscribe so you can help us hit 100,000 subscribers here in 2022 and hit that huge milestone for this community, which I'm really working hard towards. I also have a ton of links in the description to my social media channels, which is a great way to follow me and stay in touch, as well as all of my partners and people who support the channel. So by supporting them and using their links, you're actually supporting me and my content. So I appreciate it. It's a win-win for everybody. Also just wanted to comment quickly, the backdrop is a little bit different. I am playing with some audio video stuff, playing with different backdrops, reorganized my collection a little bit. So let me know what you guys think of this. I kind of like the new setup. I like what I have behind me. Love this Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger on my shoulders. I guess you usually have like the angel and the devil. I guess I have two devils on my shoulders, but I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool new backdrop. So let me know what you guys think. But yeah, appreciate you watching this. As always, thanks for coming out to the channel. Hope you guys have a great rest rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will talk to you soon.